What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Ellis, and I am so happy to be here to talk with you about my refills, the MyMark 1 and the MyMark 2, for use in Propellerheads Reason. In this video, I'd like to talk about some of the basic contents of these refills, and the features that I'll be covering will be very similar in each refill, the main difference being the actual sampler instruments contained. First, let's take a glance at the contents of the MyMark 1 or MyMark 2 combinators. In each refill, you'll find folders with 3 different sampler instruments to choose from, and then a folder of patches containing multiple samplers. Let's take a look inside one of the folders. You'll find that there are 4 groups of patches, and various combinations of the effects contained in those patches. Now go back and look at the combinator folder, and open another folder. Now you're looking at the same patches, but with a different sampler instrument contained, and some EQ and effects settings changed a tad. Now, if this is as far as you ever go with these refills, you're going to have more than enough to fit into any track or live keyboard rig. But for those of you that are a little bit more curious, let's dig a little bit deeper and see how we can customize these patches a bit. First, you're going to notice that there are plenty of classic Rhodes effects available, such as vibrato, bass boost, phase, and all that other good stuff. Let's do a quick review of some of these. First, check out that clean sound. Now let's boost that bass up a bit. Take off some of that shiny grime with the high cut button. Phase me. Fuzz it up for a second. And keep it simple with a gentle vibrato and a little bit more reverb. Sweet. These combinators are also available as effects in the folder labeled Effects. Flipping the patch open, you'll find that it's an NNXT sampler, followed by a bunch of EQ, effects, and mixers. Let's not get caught up in all that routing though. Let's talk about the actual instrument, the NNXT. Flip that guy open and you'll find out that it's packed full of layers and layers of samples. These samples are set to trigger when you play a note at a particular velocity. In all of these patches, layer 1 is the quietest layer, and the layers get progressively louder as the layer number gets higher. Generally speaking, the more layers of samples, and the more samples in that layer, the more realistic and authentic the sound is. Now we'll use a different NNXT patch inside the combinator. So first you want to click on the folder button on the top of your NNXT, and we're going to go out to the NNXT folder in the MyMark 1 or MyMark 2 refill. Now notice that you have a choice of velocity curves. Velocity curve 1 works great for every keyboard, even if you have your basic $100 USB controller. If you have a $2,000 stage piano controller or have the habit of playing with your velocity curve on your MIDI controller, you're probably going to want to check out those velocity curve 2 options. Let's go with the velocity curve 1 right now and take a quick peek inside these folders. Here you have a choice of using the complete sampler instrument or just choosing a few loud or soft layers. Each folder of patches is organized by amount of layers and size. Basically, more layers, more authentic, more megabytes. So go back to the Curve 1 Light folder, and you're going to find the same patches, but with fewer samples per layer, and therefore about half the size or drain on your CPU. So let's select a 3-layer patch using the middle layers 2 through 4. Let's take a listen. You'll notice that it's not really missing much of the sound, at least not to the untrained ear. One idea is to do your sequencing work with one of these light patches, and then replace it with the full patch before you mix or bounce the session. Now let's load up another NNXT version of the same patch, this time a 2-layer patch. Maybe your song is kind of on the tough side and you know you only want that grimy side of your Mark 1 or my Mark 2. So let's just load up a 2-layer patch. How about 4, 5? All right, let's test it out. So basically with these NNXT patches, you can get as thick as you want or as light as you want, and you're going to keep that real vintage sound. So there you have it, a basic overview of the contents of my Mark 1 and my Mark 2 refills for use with Propellerheads Reason. Go check them out at the Propellerheads store. This is Jeremy Ellis Music. Peace.